So welcome back to the workshop, and I would just like to say first of all thank you very much for all of the interest that you've all been showing in this project so far. This particular episode is about reconstruction rather than deconstruction, so those of you who are of a nervous disposition need not look away. Anyway, there's a lot here for me to show you, so I'll crack on. So I'm just starting to glue in place the curved linings. I've not used curved linings like this, I'd imagine, for about 15 years or so. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that I prefer to bend solid linings, but I just wanted to do this in keeping with the rest of the body. So I'm just putting this little portion in here first. And I'm not going right the way around because I've got a block here. I've just glued a block of mahogany in place, and that block is to take the jack socket and the jack socket plate. So you can see that in this piece of linings I've got the saw cuts closer together. That's really so I can bend it in a tighter radius to come around the waist here and the cutaway there. So the linings have been glued in, and now I'm just getting all of those flat and even all the way around. So, one back plate and one wobbly rim. Well, I've said in my other videos about using solid linings to make the rim more rigid. You can see quite clearly with these curved linings, they don't really give any rigidity whatsoever to the rim. So let me just show you where I'm up to. So we've got the curved linings in. I've got this block in here, as I said before, which will take the jack socket. I put a piece of plywood here just to really reinforce that end block. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with the towel piece. And also here I've glued on a piece of spruce, really to extend this end block. What I intend doing is cutting a large mortise here to take the neck. So that's really just to reinforce it on this side, and also to give a little bit more support here, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. Now then, into the unknown. Again, I want to put a pickup on it about there-ish, but looking at the neck angle, the thickness of the pickup, etc., what's going to happen is it's going to be about here, and that's going to be right the way in the middle of the braces. So it'll be cutting through the braces, and of course a hole in the soundboard itself, and that obviously throws up questions about the kind of structural integrity of the whole thing. So what I've got to look at is how I'm going to really reinforce, brace this area so the whole thing doesn't collapse. So without any kind of straight edges, flat surfaces to work on, everything's a wee bit trial and error. I'm using this piece of angled aluminium down the centre there, and then you can use a ruler, and that's pretty much spot on, that centre line there. So yeah, quite happy with that. So yeah, that block is now going to be let into to the braces. So I've mounted my Dremel onto a piece of acrylic so I can actually see what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that I can just flatten off evenly the tops of these braces. Yeah. Right, so that seems to have worked out okay. So if the bulk of what I wanted to remove with the Dremel, I'm just going to tidy it up by hand now. Right, let's have a look. Well, that is spot on. So I'm ready now to cut the recess for the pickup. So I've made up the template and rigged up this setup to hold everything firmly. So yeah, we're going to route right the way through the front there, through the braces probably, and also maybe some way into that block that's underneath. Right, so I've routed through the soundboard, partially through the bracing, not into that block at all, which I'm pleased about, and you can see that that pickup will sit in there, go below the surface, which is more than I need, so I haven't got to worry at all about the neck angle, where the strings are, height adjustment, etc. That fits really quite perfectly, so very happy with that one. So there you are, there's the pickup recess. You can see the braces where I've partially cut through, but of course they're more than adequately supported by the spruce block which I glued inside. So I'm just about ready, I think, to glue the back on, but before I do that, I'll just show you a couple of things. So I've drilled some holes through the body here for the volume and tone controls and a coil tap switch there, because obviously you're worried about the top splitting at some point in the future around the holes. On the other side I've put a piece of thin plywood so that reinforces that section and covered it in copper foil so everything's earthed together there, and of course a test fit here of the jack socket. All of these things will be much more difficult to do once the back's glued on, because everything is going to have to be fed in via the F-hole. I've cut the neck joint, so we've got this nice large mortise now, and what I've also done, I don't know if you can just about see that, I put a piece of dowel in through the end block, and that goes into this block of spruce here, so all of that area is tied together. Yeah, so I think I'll take all of these off and glue the back on. So there it is, my friends. The body is now back together, albeit a little bit slimmer and with quite a few modifications. So I must admit that when I started this project there was a wee bit of trepidation, but as it's progressing and things are going well, I'm gaining a bit of confidence about the outcome of this. So yeah, so again, thanks for taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.